Hi, I'm Rob Gilgan. I am, in my private life, a social media enthusiast, and in my professional life, I'm the Alumni Development Coordinator at Red Deer College. Social media enthusiast, I've, over the past few years, tried each one of the tools to try to learn to use it and learn to use it effectively. So I write a blog, I have a Twitter account, I'm very active on Facebook, mostly with friends. And I am on Google Plus and work a fair amount with that tool to just get better at it, I think. I have used email, broadcast email, for quite some time. And everything is sort of directed at learning how to learning how to use these tools to help build relationships. At a recent social media breakfast, I was quite heartened by the comments of Kevin Trapto of Cool Beans, who talked about relationship building and not using the medium to advertise his business as much as it was to reinforce the relationships that he had with different people. And as a consequence, he may have been selling coffee, but really what he was doing was building good relationships with folks. I think one of the most common misconceptions about social media, or the most common misuse of social media, is that it's just another broadcast medium. And well, it is a broadcast medium if that's how you use it. My mantra with regard to social media is know, like, and trust. You use the tools so that people will know who you are authentically. You hope that they will like you because they know they know the authentic you, and you hope that they will trust you because they read your message or hear your message or see your message on social media and it rings true for them each time. That's the area that when you've accomplished the know, like, trust paradigm, I guess you would call it, you've actually established the tool to build a relationship with someone so that when you're communicating with them, they're actually aware of who they're dealing with. They aren't reading a trite commercial message. They're not being bombarded with asks and demands. They're actually probably gleaning insight from the things that you said. When they trust you, you can become their go-to person for whatever it is that's your particular specialty or interest, or the interest that you're most enthusiastic about. A lot of people try to sort of quantify what social media is. It's a very challenging thing to do. I think of social media as a set of tools to enable people to communicate with one another and engage, obviously. An interesting anecdote was a friend of mine, when I asked him if I could be his friend on Facebook, responded by saying he would be happy to be my friend on Facebook on one condition, that I never told him what I had for breakfast. And I, of course, immediately agreed to do that. And I then realized a couple of months later that if I was actually sitting there and had put together an especially tasty breakfast, one of the things that's a nice engagement tool is to share with your friends that you've just cooked yourself a fine little breakfast. And it occurred to me the first time I did that I was violating this commitment that I'd made, and that this sort of friendship was conditional on that. I'm pretty sure that my friend has forgiven me for publishing photographs of my breakfast. But one of the things that comes out of that is it's really important when you're engaging with people that your conversation not simply be trite, inconsequential stuff. And in fact, social media allows you to put a substantial amount of depth into a very short, small segment of communication. And that's the area that, as an enthusiast, I'm looking to sort of improve myself on. I want to have something to say. I want to say it properly. And if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to write a blog post about it. In fact, I've become a lot more critical of what I write and how I write just by going back and reading my blog and saying, well, what's the benefit from an engagement perspective of this piece of work on the people that I'm expecting to read it or think about it? One of the other things I'm enthusiastic about is photography. I don't consider myself a photographer per se, although I've taken a lot of pictures in my life. My shooting percentage has always remained almost the same at about 10%. About 10 out of 100 photos that I take are worth looking at. But more recently I've started sharing them with people online, and I've encountered a group of people who like my style of photos, and not long ago I posted another group of photos that I'd taken one day when I was out for a walk, and one of my Facebook friends said, "Wow, this is a beautiful photograph. I'd love to have something like that on my wall." So I said, "Well, what size do you want?" And so she told me, and I sent it off to London Drugs and got it printed, sent her the pickup information, and said, "Go get it." So she asked, of course, how much I wanted for it. I said, absolutely nothing. I mean, I'm honored that someone would want a picture that I took on their wall to look at every day. And that's one of the ways that my enthusiasm in social media is feeding my enthusiasm for photography, because now I'm looking at my camera a little differently. I'm thinking, you know what, this isn't just me looking through the viewfinder. Other people are seeing these things and it's striking a chord with them, and that's a kind of engagement that I really enjoy. Very similar, by the way, to the experience that I used to have when I was a musician. If I played an evening where people came up and told me that they had really enjoyed dancing to the music that we'd created or listening to the music we created, it was a great feeling that something that you'd done had actually affected someone else in a positive manner. I used to run a small community newspaper. One of the interesting responsibilities about that was you felt that you were the voice for that community. That was a big challenge and a big responsibility, and one that I often felt I came up short on, because I just couldn't represent all of the points of view in the community that I felt needed a voice. One of the things that I like about social media is that we have taken that away from the, we'll call them legitimate publishers, and we've given those tools to everyone. Everyone now has the opportunity to think and write and speak and be heard. Sometimes the results are not exactly what we're looking for, but other times I think we're getting a much more comprehensive community voice as a result of social media than we have had with what we'll call conventional or legitimate media.